a test for the old anxiety when I'm filming, and self-consciousness, I suppose. I've got people walking ahead of me on the far bank. I've got people walking behind me on this bank. Car park. Oh dear, they're looking already. How embarrassing. A guy chatting to himself on the bank. What's he doing? Filming a fishing video, leave me be. Anyway, now's as good a place as any to start, I suppose. I am here in Keynsham today on the banks of the River Chub. Now, I was intending to go onto the banks of the River Avon up the road, but it's been raining heavily these past few days and the river is just pounding through, and I don't think there's been much chance of me being able to hold bottom there at the moment. River Chub is swollen in size as well, and it's very, very murky, but this river's a little bit slower, a little bit less pacey, and it stands a better chance of me actually trying to catch a fish in it. I've got various selection of baits today. I've got some, well, it's a various selection of pellets really, lots of different types and colours. I've also got some maggots just in case, but I'm hoping to stick to the pellets today and maybe winkle out a chub, who knows. But if not, I've got the maggots for some roach and minnows and gudgeon and things like that. So it's actually coming towards the end of the river close season now. Well, not the end, the beginning I should say of the close season. The end of the fishable part of the river. So this is my last chance to get out onto the rivers for 3 months whilst the fish start their breeding season. So I'm just setting up now. I better get going. I've got my very light feeder rod with me today, a reel with 4 pound line on, and my hook length is 3 pounds. I'm using maggots to begin with, so I'm using quite light gear just to, just to get the feel of the smaller fish. I've actually got a little running Legering on a Quorum quick change bead. I love those Quorum quick change beads, not sponsored by Quorum, but they are really, really good. It acts as a nice change link, so if it's ever breaks or want to change the size or diameter of the line or the hook, I can just unclip it from the little bead and put a new one on just like that, no worries. Also, if the line gets snagged somewhere, then it gets caught up in the twigs and stuff. It doesn't matter, I can just quickly take off a little bit of broken line, put a new one on, no worries. I'm trying to use up some of my vast selection of hook length, pre-tied hook length, which I bought. These go back many, many years now. A little collection I've got, mostly because I make my own ones now. I don't know why I never did it before really. I can make into my own lengths and put the right hooks on there I need. I can make them into little hair rig ones if I want. I don't know why I never did. It's actually cheaper to do so as well. I guess it's just ease of use really. It's just easy to grab a little pre-made hook length from your box and stick it on the end. So I'm just trying to, it'd be a various selection of random leftover hook lengths I'll be putting on here today, but it gets them used up. It's the same, you have to throw them away or keep them until the line goes all rotten and you can't use them. Anyway, I've been pre-baiting the swim a little bit with some maggots, so it's about time I sent my rod out to catch one. Well, catch one or whatever it is. That didn't take long at all. And here's the first fish of the day. A gorgeous gudgeon. Oh, I love a gudgeon. It's one of my favourite mini species. In fact, probably my top favourite mini species. Because I always say, oh, it's one of my favourites, because they're all my favourites. But a gudgeon is definitely top of the blocks. Look at that. Beautiful gudgeon. 4 species now: gudgeon, dace, roach and minnows. Oh. Oh, it's that snag again. Typical. I really need to figure out where that is. It's sort of midstream, but not midstream. Well, let's see if I can do a line break. Luckily, I've got a light hook length on the end of my line, so the hook length should break and not my main line. So I should keep my weight and keep my tackle all good. All I should have to do is clip on an extra hook length. Let's see. Saved it. Little tiny twig. I pulled for a break and what came back was this. Very strange, but there's definitely something underneath the water there. That's the problem with fishing over so many overhanging trees. I'm actually fishing just down there underneath all those trees, and a lot of sticks are falling into the water and logs and stuff. It's a pain, but it's where the fish are going to be, and you just got to be prepared to lose a few hook lengths. Probably goes some way to explain as to why I've got so many packs of hook lengths which I've collected over the years, because you definitely need to keep changing them all the time if you're fishing near snags. Anyway, today's about using them up anyway, so I don't mind using a few up. Well, I do. I don't want to leave them in the water. That's the wrong thing to say, really. I don't like to lose fish on them, and I don't like to lose them into snags. It's ever so slightly litters the water, doesn't it? Although the line and the hook do break down really, really easily. It's not what you want to happen, but what I mean to say is I don't mind if it happens personally to my bank account, because I'm trying to use up a few of these anyway. Alright, we'll send it down a bit further and see if that helps. Oh, yeah, finally hit the bottom. It's actually fairly deep here, deeper than it looks. I think because the water is exceptionally high because of the rain we've had. Instant bite straight away. Little fish just jabbing at the maggot. The old rod tip went bing. But I've learned with a few fish here now just to leave it just a moment, because usually that first bite plucks off a maggot off the hook, and it's the second one which tends to be a bit more of a wrap around bite. Let's hope it is. Another cracking gudgeon. Look at that chonker. Lovely fish. Of course, whacking him on the weigh scales is the way to go. Beautiful, beautiful gudgeon. Sitting there really nicely. You can see how beautifully patterned they are now. Ah, like miniature barbel. Gudgeon City. Certainly no shortage of fish here, and the anglers know it. There's quite a few turning up now. This is the last weekend for the close season, so they're all rushing to the bank to try and hook their last few fish. I missed quite a few fish. Lots of little teeny tiny twitches, which I imagine must be minnows. But I've had lots of gudgeon. When I need to do a gudgeon video, I know where I'm coming. But today is just all about mixed coarse fishing. Well, it is for the moment anyway. I do have that pellet with me to use still, which I'm hoping to bring some chub in on. So I'm hoping that my main quarry today will be a few chub. Or a chub. I haven't caught a chub in a little while. I'd love to catch a nice big chub. I'm not sure what's going on the end of the line here. I think I'm going to strike it and see what's on there. Could be a little squiddle-a-diddler. No, it's nothing at all. Anyway, lovely beautiful blue sky. Nice bit of sun. It's actually a little rat, or well, maybe it's a water rat, water vole, but I think it's probably a rat rummaging around in the margins here. and every time he goes around through, there's all this wild garlic growing on the verges here, and every time he goes through, you get a nice waft of wild garlic. So although most people don't really like the idea of rats being in their swim, actually this one's making it really pleasant. Beautiful, beautiful garlicky smell. Oh, I can smell it now. It's lovely. Whoop. Put a few more maggots on this one. Nice red and whites. It's my usual go-to. I'm going to put 4 maggots on this hook. I'm going to go crazy. 3 for the fish which are plucking the bait off, and 1 for the fish which I catch. Is that right? I don't know. Probably mean that my rod tip's going to be springing around all over the place, but hey, you know, you've got to try these things, haven't you? Actually, I'm going to send this one a bit further downstream. Yeah, maybe the maggots have got down that far now from ones I'm scattering in. Maybe they've got right way down the back. Let's find out. Shouldn't be too long for a little twitchy bite. This is nice. I know it's a bit busy around, and that's not every angler's cup of tea. A lot of people have been stopping and chatting and seeing what I've been catching. But I like that, you know, it educates people as to what I'm doing, and oh, I'll get that one. Nope. And people like to know what's in the water. As anglers, we get the privilege of knowing precisely what's in the water, because we get to catch them and hold them. But the general public don't know. And you never know, it might inspire one of them one day to come down and do a bit of fishing themselves. Must admit, I couldn't pick a better place to do it. What have we got here? Absolutely nothing. It was a twig. It was a twig, but I even lost the twig. Oh dear. Perhaps it's about time I change to the pellet. Can sit back and relax a bit on pellet. Fishing maggot is a bit too fast and furious sometimes. Let's be honest, before this even hits the bottom of the water, it's already springing around with all the minnows down there. But I'll give it another 10-15 minutes, and then I shall start pelleting up the water a little bit. Put 3 maggots on that one, and we'll send that back out. Just swinging it out, no casting required. Feeding in front of me, letting the bait drift down, and catching a fish when the bait hits near the bottom, near the end. It's a bit of a guessing game to find where that point is, but keep casting up and down the river, you start knowing where you're catching more fish from, and you start knowing where to cast to. But anyway, God, it's lovely, beautiful sunshine. Feels just like spring. Look at the size of this for a minnow. It's a proper handful. God. What a chunky fish. That's certainly worth weighing, isn't it? Good lord. Got plenty of maggots in him. Oh, it must be a her, of course, but crikey. Zero the scales. There we go. 0.47 of an ounce. That's a donkey, isn't it? Cool. Absolutely stunning fish as well. Well, it's 0.469 now. Every time I look at it, it changes. I think because he's moving ever so slightly. 0.471 it keeps going to, 0.47. What a beautiful fish. And people don't really appreciate the minnow. But look at the little teeny tiny scales. Lovely. Now I'll get a quick picture of that one, I think. That's another win for the mini scales, in my opinion. The British record minnow at the time of filming this, anyway, is 13.5 drams. And I've just worked out that, on my phone that is, that a minnow of 0.47 ounces comes out at 7.5 drams, 7.52 drams. A specimen fish, I always think, is a fish that's anything over half the British record. So it needs to be, what, 6 out, it's over 6. It's certainly a specimen minnow anyway. I'm not very good at maths. I was never good at it at school. That's why I've got my phone. But I've just worked out anyway, but that minnow was actually technically a specimen minnow. Now, who of you out there can say they have caught a specimen minnow? Not very many, I expect. Get yourself some mini scales. You're missing out on all these specimen fish hunting. I'm happy with that. I'm going to start moving on to the pellets now. I've got these little teeny tiny, ooh, I spilled a few little tiny pellets. I've actually been scattering a few of them in. That's actually far too many. But I was scattering them in, and when they came along and were chatting to me, and I think the swim's died down a bit now, so I'm going to fill it in a little bit with a few pellets. Now, these little pellets are far too hard to pop on the hook. It's very solid. So what I've actually got is a few soft hooker pellets with me, and these are really, really good. I'm really enjoying these. These are okay, they're not sponsored. These are Vajuka baits. I think it's pronounced Vajuka. And these are soft hooker pellets. You can just hook these straight onto the hook. They are that soft. Let's have a look. Give them a squeeze, look, and they are soft as anything. You can stick a hook through that, no worries. But I think one of my favourite things about these pellets is that you can get like 2 or 3 of them, and you can literally mould them into another pellet. How amazing is that? It's just like a paste, really. It's sort of pellet paste, and you can just make one big. Maybe just squeeze this up a bit. My fingers are quite dry, and it's drying out the pellet. What I need to do is get a bit of moisture on my fingers. That's from the dust that comes out the maggot pot. But there you are, one big pellet, and that's the pellet they are normally. That's the size of 3 pellets together, and that's just one on its own. So I could fish one on its own, or I can mould some up to make even bigger pellets. In fact, I could literally get a nice big fistful of the stuff if I was like carp fishing, and I just wanted to hook a pellet on there, and I could just mould up a huge, ginormous pellet. Anyway, I'm going to feed a few of them into the swim as well, alongside those hard pellets, and give the fish something interesting to eat and bite and have a play with. And I'm going to be hooking some of those lovely Vajuka pellets. Vajuka pellets. There we go. Look, I've made a massive, great big pellet just by squishing about 10 of them together there. That won't be going on my hook, it's far too big. But I could change my hook length, of course, so I have a bigger hook, and hook a big beastie like this on. In fact, if it doesn't have to be a round pellet, I could make a weird, like, I'll do this, look. I can make a weird triangular pyramid pellet, which fish, you know, wouldn't really recognise as a pellet if they're a bit wary of pellets and being caught on them. Oh dear, dog didn't like my pellet eating. He wanted to eat it himself. But yeah, just a different shaped bait might just win the day. Might try that. There we go. I've actually decided to use 3 soft hooker pellets and mould it into a weird sort of paste shape rather than a sort of a rounded pellet. Anyway, a slightly bigger hook as well, and a slightly bigger pellet, and we'll send it out into the swim, which I've been pre-baiting. Hopefully miss that snag, which I know is there now. Oh, that's pretty good, that's pretty good. And we'll leave it there for, I don't know, 10 minutes? 5-10 minutes? And If nothing takes it, we'll bring it in, put another one on and cast it back out. Keep feeding all the time. Should be perfect for any chub moving along. Just for a change, I've just changed swim. This is the one with a little waterfall in the background there. I think maybe a bit of extra flow into the water coming in from here, going down to the main river. Might just encourage a few chub or bigger roach maybe to head up and feed in this area. Well, that was my thinking anyway. My other thinking, of course, was I was chilling out and relaxing in that last swim. I was like, do you know what would make this better? Just the lovely, relaxing sound of running water. Well, just make you want to go to the weaver a little bit. And there's no lose here as far as I'm aware. So, it's a bit of give and take. But yeah, this is a lovely swim. I do enjoy this one. I fished this one a few times before with my float and maggots. But I think I'll give it a go with some pellet. See what turns up. If not, I can always move back to maggot again, or put a bit of pellet and maggot on. Weirdly enough, I didn't bring any bread today. It's normally a thing I always bring, but it was a toss up between using the bread for fishing or having something to eat when I got back home, because I've only got about 2 or 3 slices left. So yeah, my tummy outruled the bait for fishing, but never mind. If pellet and maggot isn't enough for the fishing here, then I don't know what is. This swim is just as garlicky as the last one. This is garlic here. There is no need to worry when you're out foraging for wild garlic as to whether it's garlic or not. You can smell it a mile off. And if you pick some and give it a sniff, oh, that is really, really strong. Strong garlic. Now normally I'd wind a bit of this in, but my breath is going to stink if I do that. However, you can forage this and make it into a nice soup, add it into any sort of meal really. I prefer to give it a bit of a wash, considering I know there's a load of rats running around the banks here and it's a little bit too near the water for my liking. But God, yeah, it is really strong. But yeah, every time you move around in this swim, or any of the swims along here, you get that garlic smell come up into your nose. Not much good if you don't like garlic, of course. My mum doesn't like garlic, and so she would hate fishing here. I'm pretty sure it's proper garlic stinking. But yeah, if I fancied it, I could forage a little bit up, wash it when I get home, and pop it into a lovely soup, or add it to a bit of garlic bread maybe. Oh, that sounds quite tempting now. I've got a bit of bread at home, haven't I? Oh, maybe I will. Maybe I'll pick some a bit further back into the woods. Ones that the rats are not likely to have been round, and ones that the dogs are not likely to have weed up against. And perhaps I'll put a bit of a garlic bread on the table tonight. Now, I was sitting here thinking, I should have bought some bread. I've been a bit lost without some bread. A bit of bread on the hook, I'd feel quite confident probably. But then I realised I've actually got some white Paducah pellets with me. There we go, some actual white ones, and I can pop one of them on the end of the hook, and that's like a piece of bread, isn't it? It's definitely worth a try. I can mould a few together, make a bread-shaped hook bait as well. Yeah, I'm going to give that a go. Mouldy, mouldy, mould, mouldy, mould, mouldy, mould. Just a little pinch of pellets. I'm just moulding them up into, I hope, I squish it out, looks like a piece of bread. I pop a hook in that and send that out. It smells pellety, so a nice smell will be drifting down. Let's give it a little ding, ba-ding. Yeah, what a good idea. Let's try that. Whew. What a difference half hour makes. Just been plugging away with the pellet, using the white ones, and I haven't caught any chub, which is what I was hoping for, but I've been catching a lot of dace. Not very big ones, but welcome nonetheless. They seem to be enjoying the white pellets. Probably do think they're bits of bread. This one's actually very rough to the touch, which is generally a sign of a breeding fish. They get little spawning tubercles. You can't see any on him, but he's certainly a little bit... Calm down. Hey. He's certainly a little bit rough, so he must be getting ready for the breeding season. Anyway, lovely little fish. Feisty. Pop you back. Carry on, keep breeding, make more days for me to catch. Excellent. Never mind. I knew something had changed. You know, when you're getting a lot of bites and then all of a sudden it starts to slow off a little bit. You're like, oh, what's happened? What's going on? Any sort of change in the weather always affects the fish. Especially if it comes on so suddenly as this. It was really sunny just now. Now it's tipping it down with rain, which I'm not prepared for. Well, I'm as prepared as I always am. I do have a great big day shelter back at home, but I don't like to lug it across country on a train with me. So I just stick with my waterproofs. I can squeeze into them. Not easy when you're sat down. There we go. Oh. Typical British weather. But it wouldn't be fishing without a little bit of rain, would it? I haven't had a good rainy fishing session for a long time. But I'm going to keep plugging away for a little while. And I might just stick with the pellet. I don't think I'll mess around with the maggot. I'll stick with the pellet, hunker down in the wet, and just see what comes in on that. Beautiful weather. When is it time to go home? Well, sometimes the weather can beat you. Sometimes it just gets too dark. But for me, it's the train. The next train comes very shortly. I am hoping to catch one last fish. I've been catching a few minnows off camera. Some real donkey ones as well, but that big one I had earlier on, not quite as big. But I'm really just, I'm really ready to go home now. I'm absolutely soaked. My camera's absolutely soaked. And really, actually, that's another time to go home, is when all the filming equipment starts to get too wet and damaged. And you can't afford to replace it if it gets water damage. But I still want that one last fish, even if it is a little minnow. I'd like to say I can't get any wetter, but I actually can. But yeah, the fish have slowed right down. The water's actually starting to push through here pretty quickly now, compared to what it was like earlier on. Oh, oh. What have we got for the last fish of the day? Da, 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 da. Ah, my little buddy. Oh, that's quite a nice little... Be a bit blasé. Swing him in. Oh, actually, a really very nice case. Fantastic. Oh, the fish are still there then, they are still going. But as I say, that train is beckoning me now. So I really ought to start heading home. Don't know why I did that. It's just going to get wet with the rain again. Oh, the weather, eh? What can you do about it? Absolutely nothing. But actually the weather's been fine. I've enjoyed a lot of sun this afternoon. I was going to say today, I haven't been here all day. I've only been here for a few hours. It really has been just a few hours. That's how changeable the UK weather is, as we all know. Sunny one second, pouring it down with rain the next. Never mind. But had a nice dace to end it off with. Actually, what really was a nice dace, wasn't it? Especially in this dreary old weather. It really shone and made the rain seem to be a little less damp. Oh, and lots of other fish as well. That lovely, lovely minnow, let's not forget. The big specimen one. I shall definitely try and get to the river the other side of the close season to see if I can get a few more of them big chunkers, that's for sure. But that's me for the day. Like this video if you've liked it. Give my channel a subscribe. I catch a lot more fish in other videos. I really do. Actually, I've had quite a few fish today. I just haven't filmed them all. You know, I just like the repetitive nature of showing you about 200 minnows. But I caught plenty of minnows. I caught plenty of gudgeon and a few roach and some really nice and a few dace. But no chub. I was really after a chub. In my mind, I was like, oh, I'd like a nice river chub. But never mind. It's not what fishing's all about, is it? You never know what you're going to get in fishing, and it's not always about catching that fish you really wanted to catch. It's sometimes catching that fish you didn't expect to catch, as I say, like that nice chunky minnow. Anyway, thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing, and I will see you next time on the bank. Bye.